Hey y'all, welcome to another episode of Kickin' It with J.Lane't. On this podcast, I sit down with amazing artists of all industries. We talk about who they are, where they're going, and how they want to inspire the next generation. On this episode, I sit down with Denice Badua, a non-binary Filipinx artist who bridges the realms of acoustic and R&B with a smoothness in their voice and rhythm in their guitar licks. Their music exudes soul and emotion. Denice hails from Toronto, Canada, also being a top-notch music producer and audio engineer. So why don't you sit back, relax, and enjoy and get to know Denice Badua. Listen, y'all. We are on another episode of Kicking It with J.Lane't. I have the song writer, the producer, giving it to us today. Denice, who I like to call Denice, bringing us soulful acoustic vibes today. What you're hearing right now is Let Me, which I have to say is one of my favorite songs. But we're gonna get into it. I'm not gonna prolong the hour too much more. I'm gonna stop sharing. I'm gonna stop the song because we're gonna have to get into the history of that one because, like I said, that's my favorite. But we have Denice on Kicking It with J.Lane't. Hey, how are you?
Good. I'm good. How are you?
Oh, great. I'm so excited to have you on the show. We're going to get into who you are, what you do, all that good stuff. But I have to tell you guys first, before they do the intro, I met this individual in Toronto. And y'all know how I feel about Toronto because I think I've tried to spread the love as far as I can for this Toronto experience. But to have this fantastic individual on my show, go ahead, tell the people who you are, what you do. Go on, do your thing, do your thing.
Um, ahem. all right. Where do I start? I'm Denice, if you will. Hello.
Yes.
I am an artist, a music producer, audio engineer, based out of here in the GTA, in Greater Toronto area. Filipinx, non-binary, out here, kind of representing for the queer community
All
and
right, all right.
next community, but yeah, very R&B soul based and
Love
very
it.
connected to my guitar. Yeah, a lot of love music, pretty much. R&B.
Love it. Love it. We instantly connected when I did the show in Toronto at the R&B Sounds with Waveland. Shout out to Waveland. Um, I am forever grateful for the experience, and I'm forever grateful that I met you there. It was just a vibe. The entire night was just a vibe, and so um, instantly when we started talking, we were just cracking jokes. We were, it was just like an instant connection. And so I was just too hyped to get you on this show, and then you agreed. So welcome, welcome, welcome. Happy to have you. So, like I said, I'm going to go through my series of questions that I ask all the artists, producers, singers, painters, everybody who ever come on the show. So, be ready. And then we
I'm
just gonna have some fun, okay? So, D Nice, I'm gonna call you D Nice. Is that okay? Because
Yeah.
that's the name that that stuck. So,
It's welcome. Please.
so my first question is, what made you start doing music, writing, producing, engineering? What was your jumping point? So what made you get into it?
Lordy. I mean, you mean in a professional sense or like just like it,
Um, I would say any sense. What got you started? What? Yeah.
yeah, I think with any creative individual, it always starts with a passion for it, with a curiosity, I think.
Yeah.
I was very, very curious. I was very drawn to music in general. And I was like, "Ooh, how'd you do that?" And I was towards it. And I think I don't know. I was just always very curious about music. I always loved it. I liked how it made me feel, and I was like, "How'd you do that? How does a sound make me feel this way?" You know, and
Yes.
I was a really shy kid before, so
Really?
yeah,
Oh my.
I know, weird, right? A lot of people tell me that now. They're like, "There's no way you were shy." I was like, I was so shy because, like, I was a different kid. I've always been
Yeah.
pretty mask presenting, you know, in a
Hmm.
very white town, you know.
Okay, got you. Got you. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
Understood.
yeah, so it was kind of tough, you know, making friends and all that. So I kind of gravitated towards music and my
Mhm.
curiosity, my passion for it, because it was like, this is safe.
Right, right.
And
Yeah.
then it developed over the years and eventually started doing it professionally, which is really really
Nice. Nice. I think that is a similar story to most creatives. Um, we may have started off shy and then, within that passion, how can you be? Like if you want to take it to a next level, you have to jump out there and kind of make yourself vulnerable, And so that was probably the toughest part for me. I mean, I agree with you. I started off being shy, very shy. In some instances, I still am, but
same.
not not all the time. But sometimes it comes back.
Depends on the environment.
Exactly. It definitely depends on the environment. Definitely. Well, okay, good to know. I'm learning some things. Okay, okay. So So tell us something interesting about you that we may not know or your fans may not know. What is something that you don't mind sharing that gets us a little more connected with you?
Oh, man. Okay, wait, let me think.
Think about it. Think about it.
Trying to think about it because, well, I guess fans or folks who know me from music don't know that I'm a dancer as well.
Oh, okay. Okay. Come on then. Pop, lock it, drop it. I'll be laughing this whole time. This is what happened at the concert. I promise y'all.
Show.
Yes.
Let's go. But it was such a good vibe. It was such a good
It
vibe.
was. It was.
Within the first few minutes, I'm like, we're friends now. I don't know.
Right. We are. It's happening. It's happened. What do you mean?
I know. We've known each other from a past life for sure. Yeah, I used to be a choreographer for a minute. I used to be a dance teacher for years.
Okay. How long were your dance teacher?
Lord. Just a couple years, 2, 3 years. I wasn't
Just a couple years I was a dance teacher. That come on now. So that makes me believe you really got some moves when you can answer. Just a you know,
too.
just a few years. I was teaching people how to get down, get with it.
I try. You know, I wiggle on
I
occasion
wiggle, I wiggle a little. Okay.
on
Well,
beat. That's all it is. I wiggle on. Mhm, You know.
it is. It is on beat, on rhythm. Get to it.
Yes, yes. No, that was fun. That was a good time. I think the youngest I ever taught was between I think around 5 or 6 years old. They were cute. And
Oh.
and then I taught all the way up to I think about 10 years older than me.
Okay.
So like kind of that range and it was like very different within the spaces. But yeah, I was grateful for the opportunity to do that. Yeah.
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 That's cool. Okay.
Yeah.
Dance teacher, musician, wait, we already said choreographer, but producer, engineer. Okay. All right, Denice. Let's do it. Let's doing a little bit of everything. Okay.
I'm
So,
a curious individual. What can I say?
what can I say?
You know?
Okay, so now we're going to switch gears a little bit. So, what are, or what you can pinpoint one adversity or several adversities that you've had to overcome while being in the industry?
Ooh,
Um, This question opens up so many things because we've had some really interesting topics or conversation with some other artists, but I'm intrigued to hear your input on this one.
For sure, for sure. I think, and I've explained this to other people as well, and like to people who ask me, like, oh, or like people who don't know much about the music industry, they're like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
why don't you just like go with a label and like go be a star and whatever? I'm just like, yeah, that's easy, sure.
Let me hush. Go ahead, answer. Yes.
That right now. But it's I think how I try to explain it is that especially in like a few years ago even, it was you had to fit in a particular box
Yes.
for the industry to be able to sell a
Mm-hmm.
product, because at the end of the day, in terms of like uh I guess the music industry, in terms of the pop industry or
Mm-hmm.
the art industry, um you have to fit within this box that they can
Yeah.
sell your product at the end of the day, right? And I never fit in a box.
Mm-hmm.
So before, it was very like, you got to be of the light skin tone,
Right.
you got to be sexy with it, you got to be skinny with it
Yeah,
too,
right.
you
Right.
got to be super feminine, etc., right? And I was
Right.
like, this is not gonna happen. No thanks. But even if you tried to talk to managers, or like for me, talking to managers or other producers at the time before I became a producer myself, they're like, yeah, that's great, but give it this,
Yeah.
give it give it sexy, give it white, give, like make it not gay. I was like,
All
how
right. Come on. What?
trying to tell me here? It's not gonna work. And this was like pre artists really doing well on Instagram and stuff,
Right. Right.
on social media, which is a big thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that was an adversity as well, because I think with me struggling with my insecurities growing up, especially at very formative ages, right?
Yeah.
Dealing with that, with something that I was passionate about, I'm just like, well, shit. It just doesn't top of it, you know?
Right. Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. So I mean that definitely pre pre social media was an interesting time for creatives.
Mhm.
One, we're just now getting to the point where we can actually put our own music out ourselves. We don't necessarily need a label. You have all these different distribution platforms that now we can, do it ourselves. We don't really need them, but you want to kind of be there because of the you're going to get more exposure, so to speak. So I definitely get it, and not fitting in a box. I've always been that. Always been that, not fitting in, because I think for me, my background, I have this gospel background. I love R&B music. And so it was either like pick one. You know what I mean? It's like I can't really do that. Like I like both and I want to include both in what I do. But when you go to a label, like you're saying, they want you to be in the set box. I'm not no skinny twig, so I'm never going to be that. You know?
We're
So I get it. I'm very ethnic, and I'm proud of that. And so now being able to have that platform, you do have social media, you do have DistroKid or CD
oh yeah.
Baby, all these things. You can just put yourself out there how you want to be perceived. So definitely, I definitely get that. I definitely get that being an adversity previous to this day and age. Still kind of now though, right?
Still is. It still is. It's still there, you
Yeah,
know. Um,
definitely.
it's definitely more comfortable to be open and myself.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
there in just even a couple of years ago, I felt like I couldn't talk about my queerness. I couldn't talk
mhm,
about my color, etc. You know, openly. I had to, like, in the music that I wrote, I had to make it like you can insert whatever gender you want.
yeah.
My truth, you know.
Right, right.
Nowadays,
Yeah,
people are really embracing being
definitely.
authentic, right?
Yeah,
So that's been a really nice change in recent.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Definitely. And kind of like talking about that, and I'll be honest, from my standpoint, I am more open than I have been in the past, with, you know, the gay community, with lesbian community. And I'm still learning the theys and theirs and, you know, all these things. But when you do have someone that is open to being patient, with someone that is learning to come out of that box, you know what I mean? And that love is love, basically. You know what I mean? And so I am called to love everyone no matter what. No matter what. And your music says that. I mean, I'm just saying. Let's go back. You know what? Never mind. We're not going. Let me love you, okay? Oh, no, we ain't gonna do it. We ain't gonna.
Oh my God, the plug was so good.
You like how I did that, right?
That was so good.
Brought it right on back. But let's talk a little bit more about your music, okay? So I keep talking about the song "Let Me," but we won't go there yet. I want to.
Yeah.
Tell us about your latest release, and what was the story behind that? Behind your latest album, I'll let you talk about it.
Thank you. Here we go. Okay, so Waves is a project that I released in 2020. I spent a lot of 2019 really trying to find what my sound was, because I never really understood exactly what made me move, and like what, and coming from a producer and audio engineer perspective, I'm like, what is it about this sound that, you know, makes me feel a certain way, and why do I like it so much, right? So a lot of 2019 was exploring that, and then taking that feeling and trying to implement it into my own music. So for the Waves project, it was really being um, open about my hopeless romantic self.
Yes.
And implementing all those things that I learned about myself in 2019. It's like the ups and downs of a relationship essentially is the flow. Flow.
Definitely.
Wait.
I got that. The wave. Possibly. No.
Correct. There you go. It translated, which is good. But yeah, it's like, you know, the whole project is like, you know, caffeine being very enamored with this individual right next to you, and they're like, oh.
But I do love the song now. I have to tell you, I do love, especially hearing it live, really sold it for me. So yeah. Well, I'll be playing snippets of Caffeine post production, so you all can hear it. But make sure you go and download, stream, all that stuff. But go ahead, continue.
Run it up. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And the song after that, More of You, is like that story of you know, when you just get out of a relationship and you're like, but I miss you still though. But I shouldn't, but I do. Exactly. Yeah. You know.
Let's talk about that moment.
So good. Lay it out. Set.
So Denice is getting ready to perform More of You, and I do apologize, pose a question to the audience and says, how many of you, you know, get in these moments where you miss your ex? It was something to that effect. And I immediately holler, no, not.
No. I was like, oh my God.
And the room starts cracking up, and I'm like, oh, I come out. I thought it. I didn't know it came out like that. Like,
no, I gotta record it if you want to watch it back. Okay.
Oh my gosh, you did not get that part recorded, did you?
Yeah, I'm gonna show you. Ready?
Please. Oh my goodness. No.
No, dude. All right, let me pull it again. Anyone friends with their exes? No. Oh my God, no. I was like, that has to be J.Lane't. I don't even gotta look.
Yeah, they were like, J.Lane't, is that you? Yes.
to do it. I was like, to tell him, go ahead. You right.
I'm sorry, I ruined the intro of the song, man.
Doing it at all. That's the shit that I need. I run on that shit. I run on drama. Actually, no, that's a lie.
Oh my goodness. If he's watching this, you know. Don't call, don't text, don't do nothing. Please keep it to yourself. Anywho, yes. Let's go back to more of you. Yes, I'm past that phase, as you can tell. I guess I did have that phase, maybe, but now
I have space for it. I don't remember.
uh-uh.
Another podcast just to hear about this. I'm down. I'll have tea ready.
Oh, we'll do it. We will do it. I've already got some other ideas because we're like, yeah, we're gonna have separate podcasts for each one of these topics that we end up going into.
Oh, I am so down. I'm a have to be ready.
You know, that is a good idea though. And then you put the songs on and the story behind the song, and then now how you feel like, yeah.
That's therapeutic if you write shit like that.
I would love that is dope. Look, come on now. That's
I'm here. Just let me know.
Okay.
I'm just up north.
It's happening. That's for real. Because there's some songs I wrote and I listen to them now and I'm like, speaking of the ex, no, I don't feel this way about you anymore. It's hard for me to even perform some of those songs because I know how I felt when I wrote it and now how I feel, but people love it and they're like, oh, okay. For instance, there's a song I wrote called You Got Me Tripping. And I was very infatuated at that point. And now I hardly even perform it anywhere. And people are always like, why don't you perform? You Got Me Tripping. That's my song. Like, okay.
I get it. I understand.
Anywho, I'm sorry. We went into a whole different tangent, but yeah.
No, I'm about this too. I like the information, you know?
That's what this is about. For people to get to know us as creatives. Man, if he's watching this, yeah. Oh.
What?
Anywho, now, okay, since we're on the topic of your music.
Yeah.
Now let's talk about my song. What is the story behind Let Me? And you guys, I'm going to play that one again post-production after I get all together. Y'all gonna fall in love with it too. But yes, let's talk about Let Me. Story behind it. How, tell us. Give me more. Give me more.
It's let me start with the whole production.
Okay.
The backstory behind that actually was pretty innocent. It was a friend of mine had a project to do.
Okay.
We were both in recording school. And he's like, hey, I need someone to sing and play an instrument on this. I'm like, all right, give it to me. I'm like, okay, cool. And then the deadline was like the next day. Filipino. Yeah.
We're here. Yes. POCs, people of color.
We like to take our time. We like to
right. Procrastination is key.
But yeah, so then came up with that hook, but the rest of the lyrics just came forward. Just recalling past relationships, interests, where it's just being romantic with it. Like, you're the best thing that's happened to me.
Right.
I get you off my mind. I want to, trying to make a move, but it's like you're kind of shy about it too.
Yes.
Especially being in the queer world. You don't know if someone's gay. You'd hope so.
Right. You go to make a move and they're like, no.
It's like, oh, I'm sorry, but I've dated some straight people, though. I will say.
Really? Okay, that's another podcast. Yes.
Yeah. But yeah, I think just like that feeling of like, oh, I want to hit you up, but also kind of shy, but like, please let me love you. I want to love you.
I mean, that's universal though. Like, I think what resonates with me is the feeling that I had like when my current man, because we're in a good space. But that song resonated with me and still does. Um, that feeling that you do have like in the beginning stages, and it's like, let me just let me
Oh,
I'm not gonna sing it. I'm not.
oh, you can. I'm here.
Not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it today. I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it. But we do need to do something together. I know that. I know that much.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm so down.
Yes. Yes. Okay. So we're going off into tangents and things. Let me get back on track for the people. So I know that you talked about Waves and that being your most recent project, but what is next? Do you have anything planned? Any releases coming up? Videos? What's next? What's next?
I do have ideas for follow-up projects for sure.
Okay.
It's with this one being Waves, I want to enter, not to give away too much, but the
Okay.
different elements that make up who I am as an individual,
Okay. Cool.
really getting into the different, like feelings. For example, like what with this being like very like lovey-dovey,
Mm-hmm.
very focused on the ups and downs of a relationship, like what now for another project is like what are things like really related to my relationship with myself,
Mm-hmm.
and like my relationship with the world, essentially,
Right.
that
Right.
and how it treats me, etc. So really getting deep into who I am as a person or the next projects for sure.
Right on.
So much happening. It's going down. Yeah.
Okay, sounds good. Well, I'll be listening. Everyone will be listening. Um, I'm telling you guys, once you hear Denice, the sound, the engineering, and you're doing all of this yourself, correct?
Um, my most recent project, I had some help.
Okay,
But everything before that was pretty much me
all
and
you. Okay. And do you play all of your own instruments or you
um
band with you?
I for the most part I do my own stuff, but
Okay.
when it comes to recording, I bring in musicians that I trust.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you understand my vibe.
Yes.
This is what I have in my head. Can you sauce it up a little bit?
Right?
Sauce it up myself. But yeah, yeah.
Right on, right on. I love that, and I'm with you on that. You definitely have to get people in that you trust in your during your process because they have to be on that same vibe, so it comes out how you want it to come out.
Vibe check is a huge thing.
Huge,
Huge.
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 That is a major. Oh man. Okay, I'm loving it. I'm loving it. So we're getting a little deeper with the next project coming up. Getting more in tune with self. I love that. I love that. And we all need
We
that.
do.
Especially now with this world just being crazy. Like we don't all we know is that the constant is change right now. Like there is no normal anymore. So it's finding us who we are in these situations and with our own personal growth and stuff. So I'm looking forward to hearing that from you. Okay, so next question.
Yes.
What keeps you motivated even when you don't see the benefits of your craft? So even if the bag is not coming through like you expected it to, or people now with social media, you don't get the likes that you were expecting to get on a post,
Yeah, yeah.
or you don't get the number of streams You know, we got to hit people where they're at because that's where, you know, these artists, all the artists are, well, some of them are these days. So what keeps you motivated?
You know, it's always this consistent battle of like, is this effort even worth it right now?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, but it's also a battle of like, why do I care so much about this? You know, and trying to, I think what keeps me going is coming back to why I started in the first place,
Yeah.
purely because I love to do it.
Yeah.
And I keep forgetting to just enjoy the damn thing,
Yes. Yes.
not the results, you know. And I think that's the shift that I've been trying to focus on. And also, you know, representation matters
Hmm.
as well, you know, and it affected me so much when I did see someone that looked like me,
Hmm.
um, like doing their thing and being creative and being a musician and etc. I was like, wow, maybe I can be that for somebody.
Yeah.
Uh, so I think that's another element that keeps me going is knowing that, you know, hoping to kind of create a safe space for other artists that look like me, to come forward and do their thing. But yeah, yeah,
Oh, nice. I love that answer.
yeah.
Definitely being a role model and I love that. I love that.
I
Yeah.
try. I try.
You're too much. I love it though. But kind of, and this is a tangent that I've gone on before, but I kind of want your perspective as well
Mm,
with the, and you kind of answered it, but with the shift of people being so focused on streams and likes and
yeah.
all this stuff, has that affected you at all? Or do you just like, meh, whatever?
You know what? I'd be lying if I said it didn't.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, like being so glued to my phone in
Hmm.
general, being addicted to the damn thing,
Yeah.
it's hard not to feel a type of way.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like, it's just, I'm human, right? And
Right. Right.
I just want to be wanted. I want somebody to love me. Um, but it's again, it's that constant like motion and that constant push and pull of like, oh, please love me, but
All
also
right.
myself first. You know, I don't have to care about what you think.
All right.
Like it. So it's like this like constant thing. But yeah, it's just keeping tabs on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. And that's the war. I think with everyone that I've asked that question to, that's kind of the war that we all have. Um, we want to see those numbers increase, but at the same time, it's remembering the why. And you kind of touched on that too. It's just remembering why we do what we do, whether one person listens or 500,000 people listen. Why did you do it? And the first person I interviewed, Don Juan DeSparkle, shout out to him. He's also a producer, but he answered it by saying, was your goal met? Like, did you do exactly what you set out to do? And if
Right.
you did that, be happy in that moment. So whether no one listens, did you hit your goal as far
Right.
as musically and production and things like that? And I was like, I sat here like, yes, I resonate with that. Like, because we get so caught up in that sometimes. I know I do, and you admitted to it as well, as we get caught up in that. Oh man, you know, I only got 15 likes today, or you know what I mean? And but was the goal met? Like, did we do what we set out to do? So
Sure, for sure. I try to think about like little mini me
yeah.
when I'm down, right? And I'm just like, oh, you know what? They think this is pretty dope right now.
Right, right, exactly, exactly. And we are doing things that we dreamed of, you know, saying like you were a shy kid. I'm sure the shy person in you is like, you are doing the dang thing. You know what I mean? You are doing way more than I thought you would because we didn't want to talk to anybody. I'm just speaking for myself because I was that person. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so you've given us a lot of nuggets. Thank you very much. So my next question is, what advice would you give to someone that is brand new to the industry kind of wet behind the ears, or maybe even somebody. We'll do two-part question. What would you give some advice to a new person in the industry and someone that is kind of well groomed but
Mm,
still needs a little motivation?
okay. Somebody who wants to get into the industry.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, interesting question. Because I feel like with my personality being pretty open and
Mm-hmm.
warm, I do get quite a bit of folks like reaching out and be like, "Hey, I want to do music. How do you do it?" It's super sweet. I think, um the advice that I try to give is like really just be yourself and don't be
Yeah.
afraid to do that, and it really comes down to what you want to achieve
Mm-hmm.
in the industry, right? Like if you want to make it in the pop industry, there's going to be a lot of stuff that comes with that, right? And you got to be ready for it.
Right.
But for me, in terms of what keeps me loving what I do, is being authentic to who I am, which,
Yeah.
you might not see it right away, but you're following, if that's something that you look at, these are going to be really authentic people who will follow you through and through and
Through it all. Right. Yeah.
yeah, it's not like some shallow connection. It's like
Right.
support.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I think explore.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid to explore. You don't have to have it perfect right off the bat. Don't even worry about that. Like your first tracks, it's gonna be fine. Don't even worry. Just get it out there. You're okay.
Right. Right. I love that.
Yeah. Just because you start at a certain point doesn't mean you're gonna stay there.
Yeah.
Right? You're always going to continually grow as is you are an individual who continues to learn,
Yeah.
right? So embrace that growth,
Yeah.
and with the fans that and your following that you'll eventually, have people like looking at you and like really being fans of you, right? They'll embrace that growth with you because they're growing right along with you.
With you. Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly. I love that. I love that. I mean, that can be for both the people that are in the industry too, because that just hit home for me, honey. I thank you.
oh, love.
It's so love. Yeah, it definitely being true to who we are as artists, as individuals, just and making sure we stay true to that, stay humble, stay all of these things, maintaining and not being afraid to grow through it. And I love that. I think that's something that I struggled with in the beginning, when I was first taking my artistry seriously. It's like you want to please people, but I want to do this. Like it's this constant war. And then as you grow into who you are as an artist and as a person, you're like, you know what, bump that. This is what I'm putting out. And either you listen to it or don't, whatever.
You don't have to have it all figured out.
Exactly. Exactly. I
Yeah,
love that. And that's a constant, I think,
it
um,
is.
throughout the journey is not feeling like you've arrived at this point because it's always going to be something that you continue to learn. This music industry is ever changing. And so it's always stuff that we need to learn, or, like we talked about social media, trying to attack that as an artist. Like, how do I promote on here? Like it doesn't just come natural for everyone. And that's something that, these are things that we have to always be willing to learn and grow through a process. So
Absolutely.
I
Absolutely.
love that. I love that. So you gave me some information. You gave me information on how to contact you, but tell the people if they want to hear your music, because I'm sure they fell in love with you after this podcast. How do we get to your music? How do we get to you? If we want to book you to come to the US. By the way, remember, guys, Denice is in Toronto, but willing to travel. Yes.
Yeah, let me know. Hit me up if you got a nice bag. I'm gonna come here.
It's all about the bag. It's all about the bag. No. But how do we get in touch with you?
Yeah, sure. I think the best place is, Instagram for sure at dbadua, DBADUA. You can find me there. Follow my shenanigans if you would. got a website, Denice Badua, Denicebadua.com, where all my stuff is. Sometimes I drop some stuff on there in regards to merch and stuff. I just sold vinyls.
Yes, I saw that. I was late to the party.
It sold out within the first 24 hours. So that was,
Wow, that's cool.
yeah. But yeah, feel free to follow me there. Nothing too hard. Denice, Denice with a C, bad UA. You'll find me. Want to book me? There's a little contact situation on my website. Hit me up there for
Sure.
stuff, and we'll talk.
We'll talk. Love it. So I'll definitely put all of Denice's information post production, y'all, so you can see how to get into contact, how to listen to the music, all of that good stuff. Thank you so much for joining me on this episode of Kicking It with J.Lane't. We kicked it hard today. I hope you had a good time because I definitely did.
Me too. It's so
Um,
good.
yay! And I can't believe, first of all, before we end this, I can't believe you had that recording of me.
Let's play it again. I'm gonna play it again. Here we go. Ready? And then our conversation. Ready? You got to do it. Oh, so good. So good. That's one of my favorite moments.
Oh my goodness.
Tell me you got that. Oh, it was so good.
Oh my word. You know, I'm going to use that as a advertising tool for this.
I'm excited to you. No.
Oh my goodness. Leave it to me. Being goofy. It's my authentic self. I can't hide it. I just can't.
I respect that.
Thank you. Thank you. That's why we're here. That is why.
Yes.
Well, thank you again for being on the show. We will definitely be in contact. We got that other podcast idea, so we got the vibe on that one. Definitely. Well, tell everybody bye, and y'all make sure you stay tuned for the next episode.
Yeah, goodbye.
Thanks so much for watching this episode of Kicking It with J.Lane't. Make sure to download and stream Denice Badua's latest project, Waves, as well as the song that I continued to talk about in this episode, Let Me, which is one of my favorites, to be honest. All their music is available on any downloadable and streamable site. All right, so make sure you stay tuned next week as I sit down and talk with G from Sacramento, California. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.